Hello, welcome back. This is Charlie. We are working on our next signature, and it will go on to page 1 here on the top. All right, I'm doing a couple of flip ups, flip to the sides, and then a pocket. Now when I set my magnets, for the first time in my absolute history of working with basic gray, and it's been a number of years, I actually had my magnet break. I'm just astonished. So I think I still have enough surface here that when I set the magnet, that it's going to be okay. But to set the magnets, I need to put in this panel, this pocket, and then before I cover them, I'm going to set the magnets on the underside and here. So let's get right to the base, and then we'll talk about the papers that I used. All right, on the base, this is the one I've chosen to use, and it measures at 8 3/8 across. And then it measures at 8 5/8 in the height. So 8 3/8 in your width and 8 5/8 in your height. I cut out from the cut aparts the word notes. This is a great piece to add some hand journaling in. Or put photos on this, but you're going to have a pocket down below. But I did put this on a pop-up, and it will go up here in the corner. Down here on the bottom, from the reverse side, no, this piece came out of my scraps from a previous cut. And it has this gorgeous piece on the side, but I didn't like how that matched up. So I chose the opposite side. And again, I used this edge die that I have. And it's not a requirement. You can leave it straight. You can use a punch, whatever it is that you want to do on this. But the overall depth on this started at 2 1/4, because once I did my scallop punch, I lost 1/8 of an inch in through here. So it started out at 2 1/4, 2 1/4 by, oh, magnet's sticking to me, by the 8 3/8. Okay, if you don't want to do a scalloped edge, then you'll have a true 2 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and get this taped in, and then we'll get to the panels so that we can set our magnets. And I'm hoping they're long enough and I've got enough surface here to do this. I did not pre-measure it, so I guess we're going to find out. Okay, I'm going to, first off, get the excess. Start down here in a corner and on the edge, and then lay it straight across the bottom. All right, so let's get to our top panels before we set this. And the other little tag I cut was memories, and it will go down right here. So I'm going to put these two off to the side. And we are going to play with these two panels first. Sorry, I'm hearing a bizarre noise outside, so I'm kind of hesitating, trying to identify if it's me or if it's Hold on just a second. I apologize, it's something outside. I'm always leery of noises. All right, so going across the width of this at 8 3/8, it's really hard to find what the middle of 3/8 of an inch is. So I did a trim, and these came in at 4 2/16. So 4 2/16 of an inch by 8 5/8 in your length. Now 2 4/16, if I'm reading this right, is that section right in between the 1/8 and the 1/4. So I think it's 1, 2, oh, it should be 3/16. That magnet seems to be just hovering everywhere. So let me read this again. I don't want you to get a bad measurement. So I have 1, 2, it's 3/16. 2 3/16 by 8 5/8, and you're going to want to have 2 of them. And then you're going to score at a 1/2 inch, and you're going to score at 5/8 of an inch. Oh, I already have my tape. So I am going to line up across the bottom. See, and then when you put these two together, they just come perfect to the edge and they line up side by side. I want to see if, once I get these in, I did not pre-measure this. My deepest apologies. I've got to correct my score here. It does not want to function correctly. Okay. So if I'm coming down here, if I set this magnet on the reverse side right here, I should be okay. All right, so let's go ahead and get these put in. And I'm going to do it this way so I can make sure that I'm getting my tape covered, because that gusset is wanting to act rather strangely. I wonder if I have to trim just a hair off. See how these lay. They are going to lay kind of on top of each other up here. I'm going to remove this and just take a hair off of this cutting. Not much of one, just a hair. Make sure it's straight here. Okay, so let's try this again. I have to take a little bit more off. Wow. Someone is running some equipment outside, and it's rather annoying, to be honest. So see, I told you, trying to find the center of 3/8 is a little, for me, it's a little difficult. Okay, this is gonna line up a little bit better. There we go. So this one panel ended up being trimmed down to 4 1/8. All right, now let's go ahead and get our magnet set. This is just bizarre that this magnet broke. Like I said, I think I've got enough surface material to still have that magnet function. Oh, for Pete's sake. Boy, they are just bizarre acting magnets this morning. All right, let's take this off. Come on. Make sure this is lined up here, that it's not going anywhere in the middle where it's not supposed to be. Now let's see how this placed. Okay, I still have enough room here where the paper is going to wrap around. Now we're going to do the same here with this one. And I'm just going to make sure that, again, it's lining up to the edge. And then it lines up nicely here in the middle. Now I'm going to add just a smidgen of tape because I don't really want these to separate, and with this one only being short, I don't want it deciding it wants to go on a walkabout. Okay, so while we're here, let's go ahead and let's put in, I want to tape these. Let's go ahead and put in our side flaps, might as well. This is where we are. All right, so you're gonna have 2 smaller side flaps that are gonna measure 6 5/8 in the height, or in the length, by 4 inches, and you're gonna score at a 1/2 inch down here. And I kind of want to come in the middle between this and this. Doesn't have to be exact, but I'm going to place this one down first. And then I can line up this one. So again, you're going to want 2 of these at 6 5/8 in the overall length by 4 inches. All right, so now I am going to very carefully, let me see here, where do I want to be? I know there's got to be an easier way to do this, but I like to do things the hard way. There we go. All right, let's go back to these top. No, let's cover this back down here. Let's get this out of the way. And first and foremost, that's something I forgot to do, is I'm going to go around here and just ink my edges. I am using a sepia vintage brown It really complements the brown in the pine cones. I'm not worried about using tape to tape this in, simply because it's easy to remove this piece, dig out the magnets, cut a fresh piece if I need to do that. First thing I want to do is line up my tip. And for those of you, there it is. For those of you who are really used to using die cuts, I bet you find it easy to match this business up. I have to be so careful, and I literally struggle sometimes. So I have to be super, super careful when I'm cutting and measuring and trying to trim these, and sometimes they don't all work out as well. Okay, so that piece is set. We can go ahead and put in our tag that says notes, and that will finish the base page. Now our side panels here, we'll work on those and get them out of the way. There is a piece of paper that has this pattern on it. The reverse side is the blue. We are going to put this side on the outside. And then there's another piece that looks like this, and it has the skates, and this is where I struggled with the cut. So it ends up that I have to use this side, and I'm just not gonna worry about it. But that's gonna go like that, and then its partner will be this same piece. Will come in over here, and then this partner is this piece, and it will come in over here. And it looks like I need to trim this one down just a little bit. I did not finish my trim. Take a little bit more off this edge. This is not really what I had planned. I wasn't planning on you watching me trim on paper. I guess I started it yesterday, and I came back out today to work on this, and I did not get all of my elements done. Oh, for Pete's sake. That's what you get when you stop in the middle of something and then you come back out. So unfortunately, you get to watch my finishing touches. So if you're adept at lining things up and cutting them, you should have been able to have used this side and this side. But like I said, I'm not perfect at cutting these. So I end up using the sides that I had them flipped the wrong way when I put them through the machine, and then I didn't have them even. I really wanted this side. I thought that would be so pretty, but my not having it even means that here on the edge I really screwed up. But then when I turn it over, it all lines up and matches. So that's the side I get to use. Pardon my head. Now in your cut-aparts, there's this little tiny brown piece, and so I die cut it out. I want to add a little bit of an element to this. The intent is there's going to be a photo here, so I guess I could put it up here because you're not going to bring a photo all the way to this edge. I don't like it there. I think I'm going to go ahead and keep it up here. If you cover, and if the person that acquires this ends up covering it up, that's up to them. But I just want to add a little bit of an element here. Okay, this side. I'm just going to double check once again. This one I trimmed. I must have been doing good on that piece when I walked away from it. Tip, lay this down, level it out, there we go. And then this piece. There. And then somewhere here I have the other one. Well, it has gone on a walkabout. So let's just go ahead and finish these. I'm going to turn these over. It'll be easier to work with on this angle. Okay, so for the front of these, you're going to locate this piece. It has some cards cut on the back side, and it has this big piece, that's a lantern I do believe, on this side. But I want this here on the front. This is the opposite side. So these will line up here, And you've got this beautiful border that goes all the way around. And if you have some blue gems, this would be a great place to put some of those. So I'm just going to double check, because I did have to do some trimming. I'm going to double check my cut here. Wow, this is way off. Oh, I'm not sure how to fix it. Well, poo. I don't know what happened there. But see, I'm off. And to come over here and okay, I gotta get this out of my way. This is driving me crazy. There we go. So to line this up, I'm going to have a very large gap over here, but it's really the only way I see that I can do this. And not lose this piece, because that means I'm cutting into another piece of cardstock. So it'll line up a little bit. I have just a bigger border than I want. I know I've got to trim this other piece because I trimmed down the flap. Line that up as best as possible. Goodness sakes, goodness sakes, goodness sakes. I did not do a good job of cutting this piece at all. I want this to line up as I did not do a good job. All right, so this piece, I know I'm gonna have to trim it because I had to trim down. So I'm gonna trim this much off of this side. Maybe that's all I have to trim. Okay, I think I got kind of lucky on this piece. So I'm going to put a shout out there, you guys. I looked all over YouTube. I will admit I am not good at border dies. I am not good at layering and lining up. So I looked around on YouTube and I was not able to find a tutorial on the proper way to line up and layer like this. So if someone has a tutorial or a link, greatly appreciated if you would share. I will take no offense to it because I wholeheartedly admit. All right, so what happened on this side was I could not get this cut even, so I just cut it straight across. So all I'm going to worry about now is trimming this to fit this underside. And it will fit in this way. And then I will do the same over here, and that is trimmed in just fine, but they're not even in their length. Oh, no, they are. Okay, so let's get them inked. Oh gosh, I really like this side. You know, sometimes I don't turn papers over, just I like this side. I'm going to use this side. Oh, excitement. I get focused on one side and then I don't really pay attention to the other. But what a beautiful background that would make for some photos. Have that behind there. I am going to add some tag tucks to this piece, but there will still be room. I'm going to glue these on. I am struggling enough with everything. I am just going to glue them on. And I'm just going to pay attention to that piece right there. Okay, so I'm going to center this as best as possible. And I should have and could have, and you know what? I am going to do that. I'm going to turn it around. I'd rather have that magnet fully covered and this be near the top and have a bigger gap down here at the bottom, but I need to make sure I can get down and around that magnet. Okay, so now we're going to do the same here. I just want to pay attention to that piece right there. I'm going to bring this close to the top, line it up. Okay. All right, so I took 2 tags and I mounted them on some cardstock. I'm going to trim this one down just a little bit. I'm having all kinds of trimming things going on here this morning. Okay, these are going to go down here so that you have a tuck, but you can still put a photo here, but you can tuck in some items here. Now, if you don't want to do this, I'm going to bring this actually all the way to, almost all the way to the bottom to kind of hide that gap that's down there. If you don't want to do this, then don't. Like I said early on, it's yours. Do what you want to do. Okay, so this is our outside. We have our top flaps. So glad I turned that over. It's so pretty. And then we have our side pockets. I'll find this, or I'll just cut out another one, and I'll put that over here. And these going the way they are, I'm not worried about it because you're going to put a photo in here and it's going to be framed in anyway. Our tags, our memory. Okay, let's put some tape on the back and let's get this in our album. Okay, and then a little bit of tape here in the center for stability and support. Now I will point out to you that if you have an additional floral that you want to use here to create some depth, pop it up. This one here you could do and place over this. It's a little bit larger than this, but you pop this up, that would probably work. Trying to think what else is in here. I think that's pretty much it. But you can accent this piece, like I said, some beautiful blue gems if you have them. I don't. Would be nice to accent in here, so to just give you some variation so that you can do something that makes it yours. So this is going to sit in here like so. I want to make sure I'm not covering this up over here. That's where that's going to sit. Pull it down so it's a little bit more even. Okay, so let's go ahead, now that I've got my eyeball placement secured. Pick apart the tape so that this can get set down. I'm going to turn it around. Sorry, folks. I want to get in here without tweaking it too awfully much. Okay, which side did I tape down? Oh, I'm working on the wrong one. No wonder I'm struggling. Oh my gosh, Charlie. You are such a goofball. Just trying to figure out why I can't get that thing open. Okay, let's finish burning. Give it a good old burnish because we just want that air out of there, and we want that glue really sucked up next to that cardstock. There you go. All right, folks, I'll see you on the next side, and we'll play with this pocket. See you then.